so that please keep your phone lines on mute so there isn't a disturbance. Welcome everyone to Monday night's brand ambassador call. We will be discussing Kingdom Currency. How exciting is that, right? Tonight's call is going to be devoted to Kingdom Currency. And I know there were many of you who were not on the call last week. So for those of you who are new to the call, I want to tell you a little bit about Ms. Dyer. Ms. Dyer is our president, COO, and co-founder of Kingdom Currency and BYOB movement. She has her MBA and an MS in leadership development. She's a former certified financial advisor. She's also a retired major from the US Army who was instrumental in the Iraq drawdown. And while serving our country, she was a finance, accounting, and senior logistics officer. Ms. Dyer was recognized by the Society of Logistics and also recognized as Officer of the Year by Clay County. She's also the co-author of the enlightening and life-changing book, Hidden in Plain Sight. She's currently writing as co-author her second book for the financial market. Affectionately known to us, the BYOB business partners, as a trade whisperer, Ms. Dyer developed and copywrote a trading strategy that is not only 92% successful, but the strategy is used by millions to trade on the Forex market so that we can realize our dream of financial security. So, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Ms. Tasha M. Dyer. Ms. Dyer?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to officially welcome you to Kingdom Currency, BYOB Kingdom Currency. And let me affectionately thank our host for this call, Ms. Kathy Scott, who is our Director of Communications within the movement. You know, she is definitely someone who is already poised in position to be in the top 1% of money earners. She is definitely someone that is having tremendous impact around the globe. And so she's already a woman of influence, a woman that has already built her way through success. And so I'm excited to be in business with her as we really sit here and we pave the way to really just create the narrative for you and your family. And so that's really what we're here to discuss today. And so let me officially welcome all of you to this Kingdom Currency overview. And I really just want you to truly have an understanding of our heartbeat and why this is important. So this call really is for you. This call is for you, your friends, your neighbors, and your relatives as we launch Kingdom Currency into the marketplace. And there is no time like the present. There is really no time like now. Just imagine if you had the opportunity, if we ultimately had this conversation, because right now we all have heard of cryptocurrency. So just imagine, had we been talking about Bitcoin, had we been having this conversation years ago when the first cryptocurrency evolved, imagine the opportunity that would be for you. And that's ultimately the opportunity that you have today. So I can guarantee you want to tell the person that invited you out, you just want to say thank you, because ultimately this is for you. This is that shift. And I get excited because this is truly the globe's first socially conscious token, because our heartbeat has never been about us. Our heartbeat has always been to put you and your families first. That's ultimately where this movement began. And so when you really truly think about, you know, who we are, and you really truly think about what this is about, BYOB is economic empowerment. That is who we are. And so Kingdom Currency is a token with a purpose. And so as you can see, this is your core team. These are individuals who have come together with the same heartbeat. These are individuals that have come together with the collective, you know, just the collective mentality to pay it forward. And so this is who we are. And we come from all different walks of life, but we've all done what society has told us that success looks like. And so, yet what we do understand is that you have to pay it forward. We do understand that it's never about us. And the reality is, it's just about you and your family. Because if we want to change our environments, our communities, then someone has to make sure that those financial blinders are removed. And that's ultimately why each and every last one of us are here. So if you think about it, just take a look. When you talk about kingdom currency and you talk about the opportunity to give back, you see this has philanthropy built in from the very beginning, because our entire heartbeat, once again, is to make that shift and that change within our community. And so we're talking about those HBCUs, those ministries, nonprofits, veterans, and also that green space, affordable energy. Now, these are those areas that are so ultimately important, as you now have the opportunity where you don't have to choose between philanthropy, giving to your community, and also a profit for your family. Because every dollar you spend, there is a portion of that dollar that is going back out into our communities. And these are those 4 major pillars that we're giving back to. And so understanding, this is why this is important to us. Because what we do know is empower people, empower people. And this is ultimately where Be Your Own Bank came from. This is what this movement is all about, is rooted in economic empowerment. So it is a philosophy, it's a concept, it's a mindset, it is a mental shift in order to truly remove those financial blinders that we all face. Now, why is this important? Because we all fall in this quadrant somewhere. And somewhere along the way, someone told us that there was something wrong with the economy. But one thing I really want you all to understand is that the money never stops. The money doesn't shift. The money doesn't change. The money is still flowing. But the reality is how much of it you receive is where you sit. And so ask yourself, where are you currently located? Because when we say removing financial blinders, you actually have the opportunity to shift that narrative for you and your family. And so just think about it for a moment. Because you see, 60% of us work for someone else. That's a fact. 35% of us work for ourselves. 4% have our business owners. And then that 1% have an investor mindset. So when you ultimately hear about the rich get richer, or you ultimately hear about the 95% fighting for 5% of the wealth, or 5% actually controlling 95% of the wealth, then that requires a mental shift. That requires something different. Because as I just stated, the money's still out there, but how much of it you receive determines where you are. And so that's why these conversations that we're having today are so important. And knowing where we came from, knowing what was behind us, and knowing what's ahead is why we're here. So understand that Be Your Own Bank has always been about economic empowerment. And understand that the civil rights movement is the foundation that gave birth to this movement. So when you think about where Be Your Own Bank movement is rooted, when you think about kingdom currency and where it evolved from, think back to civil rights. And I want you to understand how important a movement is and why this is a movement. Because right now, the majority of us on this call, I can't say was alive when this movement got started, when the civil rights movement begun. But yet every one of us on this call will know for a fact and will ultimately declare and decree that that movement was for them, that we have every right that was afforded to us by this movement, the civil rights movement. And when you think about that, the economic empowerment shift, the revolution that's taking place, that is ultimately the same thing that's transpiring. Because right now we're actually having that global impact. We're having that global shift. And so when you think about quotes from individuals such as Dr. Martin Luther King, about why there are 40 million poor people in America, you think about the economic system, you think about the distribution of wealth, you think about these things, but then it's where do we go? Where does it begin that this shift is ultimately here for us? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you right now, it starts within you. It starts within you receiving that shift and receiving that change. And I'm very excited that we are here and you are ultimately connected to a movement that is ultimately about that shift and that change for you. Because our mission has always been to bridge that economic divide. Our vision has always been about education and that foundation in this financial space. Forex, cryptocurrency, education, training, support, coaching, mentorship. That's what it's been. And because of that, we have now expanded to over 6,000 plus members within this movement. We have now expanded to where we are a worldwide movement. And that is because our heartbeat has always been to pay it forward. I get excited because we have educators. We have educators that have made that same decision that they want to pay it forward. And they collectively, collaboratively do over 40 calls a month to ensure that that education foundation is solidified. That is ultimately what's happened. And then we've actually expanded, because when you think about, we have our own publishing company, broadcast, millennial movements, podcasts, we're on Clubhouse. We have a university launching soon, a prepaid debit card, our own theme song, and an app. And so, ladies and gentlemen, download the app and see what I mean, and understand that you can ultimately stay connected. But what are we here to talk about today? We're here to talk about the change, the shift. Because the reality is, if you look at these pictures, the only constant is change. Yes, you heard me correctly. The only constant is change. And understanding that the only constant is change, when you look at this, the individuals that did not accept the change, the shift, the reality that things do not ever stay the same, are the only ones that are now extinct, such as Blockbuster. I need to say nothing else, correct? And so ultimately, the banking industry is no different. And so this is where this evolution today begins for you. So this is what this next phase, this next movement, this next wave is all about. Kingdom currency. Kingdom currency is a token with a purpose. So what is cryptocurrency, might you ask? Because it sounds great. BYOB Kingdom currency sounds phenomenal. But what is it? And why should you participate in cryptocurrency? Well, cryptocurrency is a digital or virtual currency. Cryptocurrency allows us to operate on supply and demand without the interference of or manipulation of the government. Now, it's something that I can get excited about, and I'm sure you can. Because if you think back, see, exchanging and currency exchange, supply and demand, natural supply and demand has always been where wealth was generated. If you look at our biblical times, or even if you go back to just understanding when money was actually agriculture, that trading actually took place, that supply and demand, that bartering actually took place, but it was true supply and demand. And with that true supply and demand is where wealth ultimately generated and where wealth begun. It was not until government interference that people began to fight for that dollar, or that distribution of wealth really created that shift. So all we're doing is getting our time back. All we're doing is taking control of our lives again. Now, remember when I mentioned at the beginning of this call, and we talked about, imagine if this was 1998, and you ultimately had the opportunity to have a conversation. If we were having this conversation and we were talking about Bitcoin, you see, this is ultimately where it began. And I just want you to take a look, because it took until 2009 until Bitcoin released the first 50 Bitcoins. So anytime something is introduced, the process is there, but then the explosion begins to happen. And so then the acceleration begins to happen. And that's why it's time for you to take advantage today. Because you see, it took from 98 to 2009 before transactions began to happen. But yet it took only until 2011 until it reached $1. So that was a very short amount of time. And as we move forward, you can see in 2013 that Bitcoin actually reached $1,000. And then by 2018, it was 19,000. And so just think, look at that, from 17 to 18, it went from 1,000 to 19,000. So just think about the position that you have right now. Just think about the opportunity, because it makes sense when I tell you, just looking at this chart in the historical data, that over the next 5 years, cryptocurrency is going to be a $40 trillion market. And let me just go ahead and clear the air, because I'm quite sure we see the fluctuations in the market, but understand that that is actually a good thing. That is actually the best position to be in, because the reality is while your dollar, your check that you work for each and every single day, that doesn't fluctuate, that doesn't change, but yet the cost of goods and services do, they move with the economy. Shouldn't your money move the same way? Shouldn't your money be based on supply and demand, pure supply and demand? Because yes, the price of crypto, the price of Bitcoin, all of these things do fluctuate with the market, which means that as the economy begins to shift, then you're in a position to where not only do goods and services rise, but so does your value. So does the amount that you own. And so that's the perfect space to be in, because I would rather my currency operate like that. And so why Kingdom Currency? Because now here we are in 2022. Kingdom Currency is a token with a purpose. And this is the first globally conscious token to where we're giving back to our communities. So you're in the best position to give and earn at the same time. So for you, now that you understand what cryptocurrency is, it's actually time for that financial shift. It's time for that change. Because I just want you to take a look at what's happening. And they do say that success leaves clues. And so when you see individuals that already understood what wealth was all about, and you see our universities beginning to offer crypto, and this is back to 2019. So even in 2019, Oprah bought $100 million. And you see colleges began to implement classes, and 83% of wealthy millennials actually own crypto. I would call that a clue. But let me put you on to something. Let me help you understand why this is so significantly important. Because many of us are familiar with our traditional retirement plans. And you see, this is actually something that I pulled offline because I want you to understand, with my background, I want you to understand just how significant this is. Because you see so many individuals still working part-time jobs. Are you aware that the gentleman that wrote the first 401k plan said that that was only supposed to be a supplement, but yet corporations began to implement this as this was the way, as if it was the solution, and now our elderly population still have to work. So I want you to understand that your retirement is a financial position, your financial status, and not an age, because there's too many people still working. And even if you put up $432 a month, as in this example, you're still going to fall short, because what's circled is what you need. What's circled is what you will have, but what's highlighted is what you will need. And so understand that you're going to fall short. And this is why the change is so important. So just take a look at the new way, the shift. And you understand why millennials, why newer generations, because they see what happened. They see what has taken place, and they understand it's not the way. And this is ultimately the same position that we're in right now. Now, we just talked about a $40 trillion market, and I just showed you a timeline. So it should make sense that BYOB, that Kingdom Currency, the price prediction is up to $300 over the next few years. And so today you want to purchase those tokens. Today you want to put yourself in a position to where you can take advantage of this. And so, yes, we have our phases that are laid out. But what we wanted to do, and this is drum roll, something to get excited about, is we wanted to make sure that our friends, families, neighbors, especially right now being the prime opportunity to make purchases, right now being the prime opportunity to take advantage, we've lowered this threshold. So right now at only 6.5 cents for $100 minimum purchase, you're actually able to take advantage of you purchasing Kingdom Currency. And also, you can also earn Kingdom Currency. So the same way we're having this call right now, we'll have it again. And you have the opportunity to bring your friends, your neighbors, your relatives to this call and use your referral link. Because for every person that you refer, that you're going and they make a purchase, you're going to be able to earn Kingdom Currency, BYOB Kingdom Currency. So yes, there is a referral program in place. And so what I want to be able to do is really, well, let's talk about the referral before I go to the next step. Is for every 10 referrals that are enrolled, when you get 10 referrals on your registration link, then what we're offering to you is that 1 to 4 night Las Vegas voucher. And as you can see, this is a voucher. And the only thing you're responsible for is the room taxes and fees. Now, the voucher must be redeemed within 30 days. As you can see, that redemption fee is only $15.95, but you have 2 years to use it. And it's going to cover your hotel expenses at a resort and casino in Las Vegas for up to 4 nights. So I know you can get excited. Now, this is not through osmosis, so you do have to send us the information. You do have to send it to BYOBKingdomCurrency@gmail.com. So ladies and gentlemen, what I want to be able to do before I open the line up for questions, before I open the line up for comments, and even to assist the facilitation of you getting your account set up, I want to be able to allow our visionary, our founder of this movement, Mr. Gerald D. Rogers, to any comments that you want to add, anything you want to say. Mr. Rogers?
Thank you so much, Ms. Dyer. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're absolutely excited that we've been given this amazing vehicle, this task, this vision to ensure that families that have traditionally have been left out of these conversations when it comes to being involved in initial opportunities to be at the forefront of economic opportunities. And think about right now, no matter who you are listening, I know there's something on the inside of you that always asks the question, what if I could have been at that initial conversation when Netflix was going public? What if I could have been at that initial conversation when Tesla was going public? So guess what? By you being in this setting this evening, you no longer can say that you are not included in those conversations. And here's the amazing part about why we decided to ensure that the month of July was Family Financial Independence Month. You need to be making phone calls to your friend, neighbors, and relatives. Families need to come together, pool their resources together to ensure that you now get an opportunity to participate in something that is historically, once again, intended to improve your personal financial scenario and situations. When you think about the pursuit of family members who have a desire to excel at a higher level of education, particularly historically Black colleges and universities, how you can now ensure that those students, no matter where they are around the country, when they go to these places, they're now in a position where they can enjoy the amenities that other institutions may have offered. Secondly, for ministries and not-for-profits, the work that some of these amazing ministries and not-for-profits are doing, you're talking about being able to ensure that people in their local communities can combat homelessness, can make sure that families, single working parents have the ability to ensure that they're getting quality food, nutrition, and things of nature. The benefit of making sure that Kingdom Currency is the preferred token in the marketplace. We're talking about making sure that our veterans who served and given us, particularly those who are in the United States, the freedoms and the perks that many of us often take for granted, and the sacrifices that many of our veterans have made, we want to be able to combat and ensure that they transition properly. Here, for me, this is very personal because, a lot of our veterans are inundated with being homeless and having PTSD and things of that nature. So we want to be that preferred token that when people know that they're having the value of Kingdom Currency as it rises for you personally, then we're being very benevolent to those individuals and then being able to participate. And as we shift how energy is created and generated, we want to make sure that communities are not left behind to be able to take advantage of the green energy space. So when you think about Kingdom Currency, when you think about families in need of assistance, by you making the commitment for your family personally, we get an opportunity to do well for ourselves and well for others. So we're hoping and believing that you're going to help us share this message. We're hoping and believing that you're going to help us broadcast this. You're going to shout at the loudest point of your vocal cords. And I think about it like this. I'm an avid sports fan. I used to play collegiate ball, and I had some aspiration of becoming a professional athlete. Can you imagine if collectively, those of you listening right now, as affectionate as we are for our favorite sports team, how much more can we be excited about something that's going to benefit everyone tangibly as well as intangibly? So I encourage you to stay along with us. Shout with the loudest voice that you can, Kingdom Currency. And once again, I appreciate every listening ear. For those of you brand ambassadors, we're excited. And for those of you listening, we're looking to not only have this information shared with you via Zoom, but if you are one of those individuals who have a desire to have us come to your local place, your community, place of fellowship, we want to bring this information, and we want to be very didactic and definitive in ensuring. So we encourage you to reach out to us, send us an email, and if you want to host a live event so that we can go in a little bit more intimate and personal detail, we want you to be a part of this crusade, as Kingdom Currency is the preferred token around the globe. So with that being said, once again, we thank you for having a listening ear, and take advantage of our benevolence and grow with us. So with that being said, I'll turn it back over to you, Ms. Dyer.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. You all heard what he said. You heard what he said. So I get excited just to have the opportunity to connect, to show it up, and just to interact with each and every last one of you all. But right now, what I definitely want to be able to do is I want to open this up for questions. You know, does anyone have any questions, any comments? Does anyone need any assistance, you know, getting an account set up, or just clarity on any part of the process? Now's the time to ask, because this is what this conversation is all about this evening. It is for you. So anyone, just open your line and state your name, and we'll go ahead and get your questions answered.
Good evening, Ms. Dyer. This is Irva Corbett calling you from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. How are you today?
I am wonderful. Good to see you on the call this evening.
Thank you. I have a question. I have a friend who went to the Buy Kingdom Currency website,
Yes.
listened to the video, and decided that they wanted to do it on a credit card. But the only example there was for the $400 purchase. How do they get to, because they only have $200 to invest, how do they get to that screen that allows them?
So let me share my screen and let me show you. Okay, so right here, this is a site you're talking about, the Buy Kingdom Currency right here.
Yes, it is.
And so when I come to purchase tokens, what has been added is a minimum purchase right here. And so you can do it via ACH, or you can do it via card on this one. Now, anyone that does a card, just on this, you know, obviously $10 is the minimum, which is if you're only doing $100, it's already set. Anything else, you know, you can do via ACH on here as well. So let me go ahead and click this. So anything, you know, it will be adjusted for that convenience fee. I just want to make sure that's clear.
Okay.
Now, you notice right here, she just wants to do a $200 purchase. Then she can come in here and make that adjustment with, so here's our quantity. So this is in increments of 100. This is in increments of 10. So what can happen is you can just kind of come in here and you can make that change to where this would be now a 3. You can actually update that.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, this is in increments of 50. My apologies. That I made sure this one was lower because I know people would want to do. So, you know, you can make those adjustments here. So you can actually play around with this based on the amount that you're looking to purchase. And obviously the fees would be less, but you see how you can just click on these, the increments of $10, and make those adjustments as necessary.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Elliot. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, I went on the other day and I was trying to set up my account, and it wouldn't let me set it up.
Okay, so let me see. Oh, you have the .co email, correct?
Yes, yes, I do.
I know who you are. All right, so go ahead and see if you got an email now.
I'm looking at my iPad, I'm checking it, and I haven't received the email yet.
Check your spam, because I think that was causing a glitch in the system, because it's not like, do you have another email by any chance? Or, but I did, you know, try to get that pushed out. And so let me see, it's because it has the .co, and it was called, because automatically systems look for the .com. And so I did attempt to get that taken care of. So so you don't have one? Let me try to send one to you now.
No, I don't.
Let's try it now. All right, so I just resent the email. And so check for me and check your spam. If not, I will send this back again to get it, see if it gets pushed out, or I will recommend another email.
Okay. It just came through.
Okay, so you got it. Okay, great.
Okay.
Awesome. And so now you can complete your registration.
Okay. I really like this because, I mean, I'm 100% disabled vet myself, and I have PTSD. And so I like what you guys are doing with this.
Well, awesome, awesome. And that's ultimately, you know, when you think about veterans, that's why. So As a veteran myself, I definitely understand, I definitely understand. So welcome to the family, BYOB Boost the Banks. Yes.
Thank you. And so I know it says the minimum is 100. What's the maximum?
If you look right here, you can definitely see 100 to 20,000 based on the amount. So up from 100 to 20,000 at a time, it will accept.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? You guys have some good questions this evening. Anyone else? Okay, well, we don't have any more questions. Once again, we will be back here next week. Okay, we'll be back here next week. So now you have time to bring your friends, your neighbors, your relatives, or just reach out to us, because as you can see, this definitely was recorded. And I'll actually put this recording in our Telegram community as well. And it's also on our website. On our YouTube channel. It's on our YouTube channel at BYOB Movement on YouTube. So it'll be there, but I'll also put it in our Telegram. All right. Any other questions? All right. Well,
Ms. Diane, I'm sorry, before you go, I have several referees that want to know how long they have to wait for their emails, because they've already they're ready to make their deposits. But I mean, they made their deposit, but they haven't received the email with their.
Everyone that has made a deposit has been already confirmed. So just if they don't see it, I would suggest they check their spam account, or go log in and see if they have in their USD wallet, if they have cash in their wallet. But they're confirmed daily. So they're confirmed daily. It's not something that only takes place every once in a while. So they're confirmed several times a day. So everyone who has made a deposit has already been confirmed. Now, I will tell you that there are some purchases where they haven't made a deposit, but they also get that email. And when you make the purchase, it says you must make the deposit. And that's why we're doing this call as well.
Okay, because the things that you're sharing, I shared with them for them to check their spam, and they actually have made the deposit, but they did not get their receipt. I'm sorry, maybe I didn't say it right the first time. They have not gotten their receipts yet.
Okay, so they haven't made a deposit. What they've done is made a purchase. Now, so how long that takes, I have no control over that. That is strictly the financial institutions. And so they do have several that are pending, but it is going to be at the discrepancy of their bank how long an ACH transfer takes. So once the ACH transfer is completed, then the receipt will automatically be generated.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good questions this evening, and that is why we're here. Any other questions?
Yes, I do have one more question.
Yes.
Okay, I did, as I said, I did receive the email. I did activate my account. I'm logging in now. How would I go about depositing the money into the account so I can buy the tokens?
So what's going to happen is, so here's your KingdomCurrency.exchange. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and log in. First and foremost, I'm gonna show you this. Let me get my two-factor. Okay, so what is going to happen is when you get it set up, so once you log in, then what you're going to have to do is come over here where it says last login, okay? And so you see this little drop down. So what's going to happen, because you just got your account set up, you have to come in and update your information here. Now, I can also drop the one where this is gone through in complete detail, but you're going to have to put this information in here as well. And then your KYC has to be done as well. And so, which means that you're going to now see these are just photos, but you have to actually put your ID. Matter of fact, let me show you what it, because I want it to be clear, because those are the examples, but what I did is really kind of show you from this perspective. So I'm gonna change my screen share and I'm gonna show you from here, okay? So we're gonna go back to this, go back to my PowerPoint, and we're gonna put this in presentation mode. And so what you're seeing here is you actually see where you're gonna update your KYC. And so all of this information has to be filled out. US customers must put your social security number. Then what happens is you're gonna update an ID. Okay, you're gonna put an ID card in here. It must select driver's license. Of course, you can use a passport, and of course that ID here. And then the back of your ID. So once this is confirmed, okay, because right now you don't have access to everything. And this is actually what a selfie ID looks for. You know, that's what that looks like. So right now you don't have access to everything. Once this is confirmed, then you can actually purchase tokens. So this is how you purchase the tokens here. Now, if you're doing a crypto deposit, like let's say you already own some crypto, I'll go back into my exchange for that, for you to actually see how to deposit that. But what happens is this is the site that we just had up where you see how to purchase the tokens. This has been adjusted for the $100 that we're talking about, that we're offering right now. So I just went through that. So what happens is minus your convenience fee, this is your deposit amount. So minus your convenience fee, because the convenience fee is for the payment processor. Now you put that transaction ID, a copy of that receipt, and then you make the purchase. If you choose to do a wire, obviously this is the banking information, and our wires are minus $20. So you have a choice of an ACH transfer, credit card purchase, or a bank wire. Credit cards have a 6% convenience fee. ACH is $10, and the bank wire is $20. For those of you who are overseas currently, you have to do either the card or the bank wire. So coming soon for your bank transfers. Then what happens is you'll receive a receipt that looks like this, okay? And it says, we've received your deposit request, which means that it's a request because the funds must be verified that the transfer has actually taken place. So you submit it, then the funds are verified. Then what happens is once they're verified, the deposit has been verified, the funds have been credited to your account, and then you have to log in and actually purchase your tokens. And so that's how that works. So in this example, you have the US select US dollar. So you're gonna buy tokens with US dollar. So you're gonna have your fees that's associated with it. You're gonna have your amount that you're able to utilize, obviously, because it's gonna come to $409.81, which is close to $410. And then of course, this is the amount of tokens that you will receive. And now you're set. You just hold them and let them grow. And that's how you do the purchase.
Okay.
All right. Hopefully that answered your question.
Yes, it did. Thank you.
And you're welcome. And just for clarity, because of what we just said, let's see, for those of you all who are making a deposit via crypto, you can make that deposit. You can select, like if you already have Bitcoin, you can just make that deposit via Bitcoin. And then you can actually make sure, I want to stress more than anything, make sure you copy the wallet address. Do not try to type it in. Copy the wallet address and make sure you're on the right network. Bitcoin has its own network, right? Tether, we're on the BEP20 network. So you can see that the networks are next to the tokens. So Ethereum has its own network. So make sure you send it on the right network and copy the wallet address, okay? Please do that, because that's not something we can pull back. You must send it properly. So just imagine if you were gonna Cash App me, I was gonna Cash App you, I have to have it right, because it will be up to the person that receives it if they wanna send it back. I do wanna stress that, okay? So we wouldn't be the ones receiving it. So, but you made a donation to somebody. And if you guys have Cash App or have transferred funds via Zelle or Cash App, you do understand what I'm talking about. It's the exact same thing. All right, questions, comments? Any other questions or comments? All right, well, I'm gonna turn this back over to Ms. Scott, and let me welcome each and every last one of you all to BYOB Kingdom Currency, a token with a purpose. So officially, welcome to the family. Ms. Scott.
Thank you, Ms. Dyer. Very, very effective training call. I appreciate it. I learned some things myself. We are going to close in prayer. Mr. Rogers, will you close us in prayer, please?
Absolutely. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for giving us your listening ear, your heart. And I know you have found tremendous value in this information this evening. And so we just once again want you to link arms with us so that you can broadcast this message with us. And we know the work that we've been called to is going to add tremendous value to many families, many communities, many ministries, many veterans. And you now have the opportunity to be a forerunner at the forefront of personally treating your own personal financial narrative for you and your family. But this is about legacy, right? The legacy, now you have an opportunity. You've been invited to the table to be a part of creating history with us. So once again, we salute you for making a true family financially destiny decision. And we applaud and salute you for being a forerunner for your namesake, your last name, be your own bank, Kingdom Currency, a token with a purpose. So with that being said, Father God, we thank you for your majesty. We thank you for your glory. We thank you for your grace. And we pray right now, Father God, that the hearts and the minds that are here with us will reverberate around the globe, because the work that you called us to establish your kingdom, that you will be glorified and honored in the efforts of the hearts and the minds that are represented. And we pray right now that you would open their hearts and their minds and let them be receptive to expansion, to increase. We come against any force that would create fear and trepidation and uncertainty, because in all thy getting, we have given an understanding. So we know that this work will bring honor and glory to you. So we release prosperity and wealth in the minds and the hearts of those who are hearing and those who will continue to be involved at a future point in time. So use us mightily to represent your kingdom with proudness, with certainty, and the grace that you bestowed upon each and every one of us. So we say thank you, and we submit our work to you, that you'll be glorified. So as we depart from this setting, but never from your presence, protect our hearts and our mind, keep us unified, solidify this work. For we ask it in your son, Jesus' name. Amen. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kingdom Currency family, BYOB. One voice, one sound, one band, one sound. So God bless and have an amazing evening. And we'll see you at the next appointed time. This will officially conclude this call.